CarbonCredits.com is your source for carbon news, carbon pricing, carbon opportunities and more.
Click to subscribe and receive notifications.
Government never met a market it didn't want to regulate. The emerging VCM is just the latest example. This week, we've got government responses to carbon markets around the globe, from the EU to the US. Let's dive in. The EU leaves the ETS alone, for now. The EU's emissions trading scheme, a.k.a. cap and trade program, is a rousing carbon market success. EU ETS credits currently trade at €83, a rate far above California's cap and trade program, $32. So why did a recent overhaul of the regulation fail to pass the EU Parliament? The proposed changes would have brought the ETS in line with the EU's Fit for 55 initiative. But the changes actually weakened some of the existing rules, resulting in a backlash from many lawmakers who felt the new rules didn't do enough to fight climate change. VCMI codes, coming to carbon credits near you. Offsets are notoriously difficult to verify, with net zero claims often not being worth the paper they're not printed on. To help, a number of third-party verification and standards organizations have stepped up. The latest is the Voluntary Carbon Markets Integrity Initiative, which published a set of draft codes to help purchasers better analyze projects. In particular, the code can be used to qualify a company's net zero portfolio. Companies that receive a gold rating have offset scopes 1 to 3 emissions with high-quality carbon offsets. U.S. Congress closes the border on carbon. The Clean Competition Act penalizes imports from major GHG emitters, under the auspices of a Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism (CBAM). The legislation hasn't been passed yet, but aims to boost American manufacturing by leveling the playing field between clean American companies and factories based in countries with fewer GHG emissions controls. Biggest Oil opens the books. Saudi Aramco published its first ever sustainability report. The report includes a blue ammonia production goal. 50 million metric tons less of CO2 emissions per year by 2035. Scope 1 and Scope 2 net zero by 2050. The report also included information on planned purchases of carbon offsets to further reduce the company's carbon footprint. Biochar, or biocarbon, Verra knows. Verra, one of the leading carbon offsets registries, introduced a standard for Biochar projects. Biochar can boost agricultural yields while also increasing CO2 levels in the soil, a potent combo with a wide variety of applications. With an increase in Biochar projects, Verra has stepped in to clarify the benefits of Biochar projects. In particular, Biochar's ability to boost carbon soil sequestration places it firmly in the category of hybrid carbon removal projects. Should 3 out of 4 U.S. military vehicles be electric? Elizabeth Warren thinks so. Her Military Vehicle Fleet Electrification Act calls for the military to purchase electric vehicles for its non-combat fleet. That's an acceleration of an already existing goal. Existing legislation calls for a fully electric non-tactical fleet by 2035. Warren's bill isn't particularly likely to pass. It, along with the stalled EU ETS reform bill, show how loaded the carbon questions are for the world's governments. Carbon catch-up. Here are some of the other key stories we've been covering the last week. Net zero gaps. An inventory of net zero pledges found massive gaps among the world's biggest companies in their promises to reduce GHG emissions. Best ways to cut carbon emissions. An increasing number of companies are looking at ways to reduce their carbon footprint as climate change becomes a major threat to the Earth. Climate-proof your portfolio with our free guide. Within minutes, you'll learn the key to the most important commodity of the 21st century. Click the link in the description below.